see is tuna on toast.
Whew, boy, am I exhausted. Just got back from the forest and I chopped this tree down. It was the only silver one out there. Okay, Nicholas from Walk the Moon is about to get here and we're gonna play some Name That Tuna on Toast. There he is right now. All right. It's gotta be Nicholas. Is this Nicholas? Yes! Welcome! Oh my God, thank you for coming over. Hey, how are you? Good, great to see you. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay. Normally when people get here, we've had a lot of great people come over from Mike Shinoda, Tom DeLong, Bishop Britt, a great list. I offer them all the food they want.
Okay.
You cannot have anything until we play Name That Tuna on Toast.
Name That Tuna?
Name That Tune on Toast. Follow me. If you get 3 out of 5 rights, then you can have anything you want in this house, food and drink wise.
Okay.
All right. Here's your first song. Well, the years start coming, and they don't stop coming.
All-Star.
Yes!
Smash Mouth.
1 for 1. Excellent job. There we go.
Bring it on.
Ready, let's roll onto something new. Taking its toll, then I'm leaving without you.
Something taking this.
'Cause heaven ain't close in a place like this.
Heaven ain't close in a place like this. Killers. Jenny was somebody.
You got 10 seconds.
Bring it down, baby, tonight. Ooh, in my moonlight, somebody told me that you had a
2 for 2.
It's only my
Good job.
favorite freaking
Nicholas.
band.
Okay, here we go.
Alright.
You,
Revved up.
what do you own the world? How do you own disorder? Disorder! Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep, disorder.
I don't have this one.
I know you know it.
I don't have it.
Toxicity by System of a Down.
Oh, man. Okay.
No bell.
Okay, no bell on that one.
1 for 2. All right, here we go. Every morning, there's a heartache.
Hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's 4-post bed. I know it's not mine, but I see if I can use it for the weekend or a one-night stand.
And who sings that song?
Sugar Ray.
Bam! Wow! Let's do one more.
Okay, great.
You are great. Oh my God. Okay. This may be the toughest one. Great song, by the way, this song.
Okay.
I mean, one just so well written. Screen falling off the door hanging off the hinges. My feet are still sore, my back's on the fringes. Yeah! And it's on Walk the Moon. Oh! All right, good job, man.
That was great.
Good job.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
All right, watch your head on here.
All right.
Also, since he won, he has his drink.
I have my drink. I also
Wait, no, that's your seat on that side.
This side. And some Musketeers. This is my personal favorite.
Oh, man. Whoa. This guy, Nicholas, does not respect wood. Hold on. There you go.
I'm so sorry. My mother would be so disappointed.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuna on Toast. I am Ted Stryker, joined by the frontman of the great band Walk the Moon. Nicholas Petricca is here at my house. Nicholas!
Hey.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. This is great.
It's crazy, and I say this to every single guest that is here. As you were working your way to where I live, were you thinking, why am I doing this? What is this? I'm going to fire my manager. What is happening here?
No, I only live like 10 minutes away.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this is my neighborhood basically.
Oh, good. All right, here's what I'm starting with. I'm grabbing this note card.
Okay.
This is a tweet that I wrote to Walk the Moon Band March 19th, 2012.
Okay.
It's early on. I wrote, hello, Walk the Moon Band. If you happen to be near a radio in 13 minutes, the Stryker 420 is Anna Son by you. Have a good show at the Echo Plex. That was my pick of the day on March 19th, 2012.
Wow.
So, do you...
I love that.
Yeah, man. That was my pick. I did a feature on K-Rock every afternoon, could play whatever I want, and I knew you guys were in town. Love that song. Do you remember at that time where Anna's Son was in terms of being popular, or it was on its way?
Well, Anna's Son was the song that took us from our like indie world into the realm of other people out knowing who we are,
Right.
and labels and management and agents and all that stuff. So that song kind of began, like for us, it was birthed in Cincinnati. We had made this music video, the Anna's Son music video, with our friends and community members and strangers and whoever would show up, and threw a big party, and we were at that time just doing whatever we could with whatever we had, right? And trying to be as big a fish as possible in the pond of the Cincinnati and surrounding towns. So, but it was around that time that you sent that note that we probably heard the song on the radio for the first time and had our like that thing you do,
Right.
Tom Hanks,
And,
moment, So it was that was a special time. So much potential in the air, and so much like this whole world opening up to us for the first time. And
Were you guys just psyched at the time to be in LA playing a venue like Echo Plex? I know in 2010 you released an album, no major label behind. It was self-released, but Anna's Son was on that album. Had you come to LA many times before to do shows?
No, I think the first show we played in LA was at the Bootleg, maybe late 2011, something like that.
Wow.
I think I called the audience San Francisco that night.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a good start.
And how many people were at that? I mean, were you...
Probably 100 people, something like that.
Which is actually not bad.
It was great. Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, now LA feels like I live here now, obviously, but it feels like a second hometown to us. Like Anna's Son in particular, like really planted roots here, and feels like home for us here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember specifically after playing the song, getting calls on the request line, like, what is this song? Who is this band? And I responded, they're called Walk the Moon, but I don't really know that much about them yet. I need to figure out a deep dive, but at the time, there really wasn't a deep dive that I could do on you guys.
Yeah, just a bunch of pictures of me in college on Facebook.
Right. What college did you go to?
I went to Kenyon College.
And that's in Ohio?
That's a little liberal arts school in the middle of nowhere on a hill in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did you end up at that school? And was it right after high school? You went in that August or September?
Yes. And I went because I wanted to be an actor or a writer, a creative writer, maybe.
Yeah.
I was like really into Shakespeare. I went to Shakespeare. I took Shakespeare classes on Saturday mornings during high school because I loved Shakespeare so much.
And Shakespeare is tough. If you don't do a good Shakespeare and the audience is hip to Shakespeare, they're going to be like, this stinks.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you give me a line or two?
Oh, was not prepared. Was not prepared for this.
That's okay.
But soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Rise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already. I'm gonna forget. Rise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who's already. No.
That's all right. That was close. I mean, you've written so many songs since then. You have enough in your brain. So you studied Shakespeare.
Wow, I just did that.
That's all right. You're all right. You're good. You're good. So you go to college. How many years do you go to school? The full way?
Yeah. I was kind of, I would later look back and see myself as kind of a late bloomer in like the rock and roll world, because I needed to go to college before I could do rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like I needed to expand my horizons, and I needed to like my college girlfriend to introduce me to Talking Heads. And
oh wow, well that's a good one to be introduced to. For the love of God, it's a good one.
Yeah, I needed to grow up a little bit, and so I wasn't. I mean, I started a band right out of high school that eventually became Walk the Moon. I've really only ever been in one band, basically.
You love performing. I mean, we've been here 5 minutes so far, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. You like to perform. Why didn't you go? You start this band after high school, but you go to college. Why didn't you? Did you get an agent for acting? Did you look into like, oh, I want to get to LA and maybe do commercials?
I was more interested in straight theater, like stage, live theater.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about myself in film TV or anything like that. I just loved the energy of all those people coming together to create that moment that only happens that one night, you know. But after I started getting really deep into, you know, after I started buying records and like becoming obsessed with bands that I loved, like newer bands at the time, like The Killers or Coldplay, or Muse.
Love those three. They're at the top of my list.
Or, you know, older, you know, like really deep into music like Jimi Hendrix or Simon and Garfunkel or Phil Collins or something like that. Yeah, it just there's something that like music just kind of came and like gobbled me up and took me away from all those other things. Not took me away in a bad way, but just like the passion that I found for performing in that context for some reason just lit me up like nothing else.
So when you're going to school and you're studying theater, you're reading somebody else's line, doing it in the way that you think the words should fly out of your mouth. Obviously, in a band, it's your own thoughts, your own life experiences, and you have to share that stuff with the crowd. And you're a young dude at the time, and the band does not have a ton of success. Was that hard to do?
I mean, at the time, no, like there was, in a way, it felt like the most natural. Like I'm not thinking about it. I'm just like doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, looking back and having this conversation with you right now, yeah, I don't see that much a difference, I guess, between like writing songs and I guess and writing theater, writing a play or something like with characters. And because for me, I've said this a lot talking about songwriting, that like a song will often start in an autobiographical place. Like it always starts from something organic, something in my life, in my environment, in my own heart that's happening, heart or mind or whatever. But then once it kind of hits the, like my notebook or, you know, like once it's kind of out of my head, it takes on its own life and becomes like, a lot of the songs are about characters that have been created for the song. And that character might have life experiences that I have or emotions, you know, that like their story within the song is fed from a real place, but like the events that happen in the song, you know, are not necessarily real, you know, true to life.
What do you think it was or is about Anna's Son 9 years ago, 10 years ago, that people would hear it and be like, you know what? I'm locked into this song. Who the hell are these guys? What do you think it is?
It was a really potent time. I had just left college and I was depressed. I was so... I mean,
Why do you think you were depressed?
I mean, I'm a happy person in general, but I was so struck with so much sadness of leaving this like magical place where all my best friends, I could just walk across, you know, across the lawn to their house and all, you know, this like, this vibrant world of so much creativity and parties and just like great memories and all of that. And I was really hit with how like transient that is. It's just like, that's really a moment in time and that's never going to be that way ever again.
For sure.
You know, new things will come in that are just as good or better maybe, but that time is, you know, is gone. Got to let that go. And that was so powerful for me. And so it's like all the magic of my experience of college and really like growing up fast, and learning so much in such a short amount of time. And that was all like packed into that song. And the name Anna's Son is a professor that I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the song isn't about her, but there was something about her name that just like somehow encapsulated everything that was happening, and just it's you know, it's a magical name. I mean, Anna's Son, like that's a real name. It's like it's like a magic phrase. So,
and as you're telling me this, maybe that story's been told 10,000 times. I love music. I love your band. I love that song. I have never heard that before. So I'm sitting here like, ooh, I'm geeking out. This is
cool.
really, really good right
That's
here.
awesome.
So you released that first album. Then you release a self-titled album, but that's with RCA Records.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world did they find you? How did they, what was, like, was it one show that you did in LA? Was it something on the internet?
So we were entirely like our own engine, just doing our own thing, booking our own tours, and I was the manager and the label, and I actually would write. I would cold call or cold email venues or bars like as someone else. Like I represent Walk the Moon.
Was there a fake email for that, like Walk the Moon Manager at
for sure,
Gmail or
something like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but absolutely yes. And and so it was that, like out of that era that we made the Anna Sun video, and we had a buddy who knew some folks at like a blog in this town or a radio station in that town. He would just help us and sending some stuff because he was a touring musician before that, and this blog in Washington D.C. All Things Go. I remembered you guys. All Things Go.
Yeah.
Put the video on their blog, and a little record label out of New York called Neon Gold,
Okay.
who had they've been credited with discovering Vampire Weekend and Passion Pit, and
Wow.
and they saw the video, they tweeted about it, and literally the next day my inbox was just full of emails, lawyers and management and
Whoa.
agents, and it was just like it was all happening suddenly all at once. And
What'd you feel inside? Was it any sort of validation yet, or nerves, or excitement?
I had this at the time. I had this like weird certainty about everything. Actually, that I often think about. And I'm like, where did I want some more of that right now, especially in these times. Goodness gracious.
Right. Yes, yeah.
But yeah, where I was just like, yep, this is exactly what's supposed to be happening right now. Like this. I mean, obviously, I was surprised and like freaking out, but also like, yeah, 100. This is we saw this,
Yeah.
we predicted this.
Right.
And we just had so many beautiful people kind of come out of the woodwork, including the folks at Neon Gold and our lawyer, who's still our lawyer, Nikki, right now. But people watching are like, lawyer, what? I imagine. But like, honestly, like your music lawyer is so vitally important. And he's
Right. And I think most people in 2021, not all, but most know that there is a history, and I'll just use entertainment as the example, where artists get screwed.
yeah.
There are actors who are on sitcoms in the 70s. Their episodes run 7 times a day. They make $0 in 2021. There's bands that have written unbelievable songs, but because they didn't have a lawyer read the fine print, someone else is getting 75% of all the money, and they're getting maybe 18% of that only.
Right.
You need somebody to have your back that you could trust.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and it's been a thing for forever. Like artists like have always had advocates and what's the word I'm looking, like patrons, patrons of the arts, like thousands, the last like hundreds and thousands of years, not hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, maybe we can get into aliens and stuff too. I'll go deep on that. But like artists have always had people around them that have been vital to the art being made, just not in a direct way, and
yeah.
and it's still true now. Like there are so many people in our team, in our sort of like extended family, industry and actual family and friendships and otherwise that are like so important to our story and our journey, and we wouldn't be where we are if it weren't for people who really love and believe in the art, and that like it's important. This is great actually. It's just like reminding me like how important this is, that there are people who believe in the importance of art. They believe in the importance of music, and they want to see it thrive and grow, and they see that that vitality and that importance in like the artists as well, and like I don't know where we would be if we didn't have
Sure.
all these folks who have supported us along the way, and it's great. I mean, we can be all one big happy family and
Yeah.
and thrive because there's art being made and shared. That's awesome.
In this interview so far, this hangout, you've mentioned The Killers, Muse, and Coldplay. All of those bands, everyone knows they have great songs. Not just, I mean, you go through all their albums, oh my, great song. but they bring them to life when they do a live show. And you leave their concerts and you're like, they're better than I even thought they would be. And you tell all your friends. I was screaming that about Walk the Moon. You guys bring those songs to life. Did it take some time? I know I've mentioned being on stage and all that, but to get to where you are, at least right now, like I saw this 7, 8, 9 years ago. Did you feel like you had it then? It was like, if people can just come see us, we're going to get one fan at a time here.
We had a very like fighting for our lives mentality at the live show from the get-go. And a lot of the music early on was kind of built around like, how can we involve the audience? Like what kind of like, you know, like we would choose one. As we're writing a song, we might choose one hook over another because like we can get the audience to clap or like shout or something like that.
Yeah.
So like there was kind of a community aspect inherent in the DNA of the music. And that hasn't changed. Like that continues, you know, that's like part of, it's become part of my, I don't know, songwriter, brain.
Something you think about.
That's something I think about because it's like, I don't know. It feels it's natural, but then it also is just fucking fun. That's like my favorite part of the show is the exchange with the audience.
Who are some of the bands that you opened up for before you guys went out on your own as headliners?
The first band we ever toured with was Group Love.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wait, isn't one of the dudes from Group Love? Did he co-write a couple songs on the new album or no? No,
negative.
No, negative. Okay.
That would be great. I wish that were true. Love Christian. He's awesome. First band was Group Love, but it was a little tour. The first like big proper one where we're like, damn, like we're on tour was Fits in the Tantrums.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, that changed our lives. That tour it set us on a course of how we wanted to tour. I just remember them being so generous. And so
what does that mean exactly with when you're saying the band is generous?
Sure.
What sort of way?
Well, I remember, I mean, they were friendly. They actually said hello.
Right.
And sometimes you're opening for men, they don't give a shit.
I've heard that.
They're not interested, which is fine. You know, but these were just like, oh, they're right away, just warmth. And you could feel that warmth from like everyone around them, like that was working for them, the tour manager, you know, like welcoming and accommodating and you know, wanted us to win too, like helping us, you know, just make our lives a little easier. But like also down to, we would play a small venue in, I don't know, like Orlando or something, and there was only one dressing room and it wasn't that big, and Fits in the Tantrums were like, well, we'll just stay on the bus. You guys take the dressing room.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is almost unheard of. I've heard stories of opening bands who are credible and good where they wouldn't even let them have, if there were 5 band members and there's 5 dressing rooms, the 5 band members would get the dressing rooms. The opening band, stay in your van or bus.
Right.
You can't come in. Holy crap. Kudos to Fits in the Tantrums.
Totally. And
wow.
Yeah, they set a vibration that like we just recognize as like, well, this is how we want to tour. This is how we want to treat our people. This is how we want to make everyone else feel when we're on the road. And I'm so grateful for that, because in 10 years in, we've had the same tour manager 10 years, and we've just got this incredible family around us that makes the road joyful.
Right.
You know?
Okay. So then it's roughly 2014 and it's time to release Talking is Hard.
Mm-hmm.
Holy mackerel, things go to a new level for your band Walk the Moon, because Shut Up and Dance is on there.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to record that album, do you feel pressure or no? Or do you expect, because you're confident in a good way, things are happening and you expect them to happen, but now it's like, oh my God, people really know who we are. We got to go make these new songs.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of that pressure each time, but it hasn't been all that present for us. I think there's more of like an internal for us. There's more of like pressure on ourselves to keep outdoing ourselves and writing the best thing that we can. But I don't know, you hear those, like, I think of the stories of I mean, I don't know if this is real or if I made this up, but like, I think of like Chad Kroeger trying to like write, "Don't say I was a blind man," trying to write that song.
Never said
like,
I was a blonde man.
yeah, again and again, just like always like trying to, like getting pressure from the label to like write the same hit again or something like that.
Right.
And I just don't know that we are capable of that. I think we're a little too schizophrenic for songwriters to.
Is Talking
do
Is
that.
Hard musically for you a lot different than the first 2 albums you put out?
To me, they're all. I mean, there is some kind of progression. I would say maybe from the beginning, that feels like an intimateness, and things got kind of like more epic. But I think on this last record that we've just put out, Heights.
November 12th, it was released. That's
right.
just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we got a new album out. Album out, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
New
We're
album.
going to get to it. Can You Handle My Love, as we sit here, is number 5.
Hey.
Love the song.
Awesome.
K-Flay, co-writer on there.
That's right.
We
That's
can
right.
talk about that right now.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Well, yeah, on this new album, I feel like we've come back around. Like we've like funneled some of that epicness into a more intimate space. But I don't know. I don't know how people hear Walk the Moon, but when I listen to the albums, when I'm at home smoking a pipe, having a brandy, and listening to my own music, I hear us as being like, I use the word schizophrenic. I was just like we're not. I've never seen us as one of those bands where like every song sounds the same, or like in a good like. That would be a great thing if we had a similar sound or something, and maybe we do to an outsider. But to me, like the songs are like really are quite eclectic and sometimes feel almost mismatched. But I've come to embrace that, and I've come to see that as like, oh, this is something, we're spanning the whole human experience here, and this is how we do it.
You mentioned just being like all over the place, like making the song, but do you tinker a lot with the stuff? Let's just say, this song is done, but you still got, whether it's 3 weeks or 6 months before the public gets it. Do you ever go back and be like, holy crap, what have I done? This is not, my brain is ticking differently today than when I wrote this 7, 8, 9 months ago.
Oh, constantly.
So what do you do?
I mean, you can't, it's like there's so much letting go in the process. And things evolve, and sometimes you make a terrible mistake, recording something, and it becomes the entire song. Then they're like, everybody's like, "Wait, what's that?" And then the entire song revolves around that mistake, and it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like a gift from on high.
Oh, yeah.
Other times, I've felt like I will have a revelatory idea, but then it takes the song in such a different direction that like by the end of it, I'm like, oh man, I actually feel like I miss whatever the initial spark was. Like that's the song's now so different. I mean, it's cool. It's its own thing, but it's so different from where it started. And so, there's such a journey that happens before the songs ever get released. There's such a journey of like this, evolving creature,
Right.
Yeah.
So What If Nothing, which is the album before Heights, was 2017. So it's time to make Heights. And you start writing the album, making the album, and then the pandemic hits, right?
Uh-huh.
So what sort of trouble did that cause you for making the album, if any?
Sure. It was a blessing and a curse. I mean, the curse is obvious. Like, everyone experienced 2020 and, in such a variety of, in all the ways. I'm like, how can I be politically correct as I talk about?
I think everyone knows that we have so much empathy. It's been a horrible, sucky almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Lives have been lost. This is strictly a question about the creative, how it messed you up creatively and helped you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Man, and now when you said that you actually said that so beautifully, I'm like struck by it again. Like, this has just been so intense, and I'm grateful that we had a creative project to focus on because it really gave us a sense of purpose during that time. And we were about halfway through recording when lockdown hit, and we didn't know how nobody knew how long that was going to take.
Sure.
And then when it started to become clear like this is going to last a while, like we didn't know if we could finish the album in those circumstances. And thanks to technology and video calls and our amazing engineer and producers, we made the rest of the album from home. We all like upgraded our home studios. Sean, our drummer, literally turned the bottom floor of his house into like this state-of-the-art drum studio.
Oh my god! So Sean
epic.
was at his house. Downstairs
he's
is
full
drums.
mad scientist.
Eli, what's he doing?
Eli, meanwhile, he had a baby just before the pandemic.
Okay.
So also a blessing and a curse for him. Yes, they're isolated, but he, normally he would have been on tour, and he gets to share all these amazing firsts with his new child and his wife, and meanwhile I'm a bachelor, and
you live
recording vocals
here,
and playing video games.
You live here in Los Angeles, but I've met some people. Listen, I don't think I thrived during the pandemic. I know some people that did, whether it was weight loss, whether it was kind of refocusing their life, figuring out their relationship status with their partner, it went to the next level, or it was like, nope, this stinks, I have to move on. Where were you and all that?
It was both for me. I would say because so much time spent in the last 10 years has been on the road, that time at home, like that extended time, felt like vacation, felt like sanctuary.
It did feel like, even though you're, for the most part, were you by yourself then for most of it?
For a lot of it,
you were.
I had some close friends that we had.
Okay,
kind of a pod.
Good.
And I felt like I had a really good community around me. Meg Myers, the artist.
I love Meg Myers.
She and I became like best friends.
Really?
During that time, and just one of my favorite humans. Such an incredible artist.
Good.
Yeah. So there were some beautiful blessings during that time, but the main one, I think, being just like we had the album to focus on, and so there's obviously something lost in not being all in the room together with this epic producer with a English accent, and we're
so
like having this rock and roll experience.
There's one producer for the whole album. Sorry.
But our dear producer Mike Crossy, he did about 2/3 of this record.
Okay.
He's just an epic individual, and working with him, he's such a effusive, like, warm personality, and also like total mad scientist. But he has this like very strong, half Irish, half Liverpudlian accent that just makes you feel like you're in a rock and roll movie when you're in the studio with him, So it's like extra satisfying, like in this ineffable way working with him. We also worked with Paul Meany, formerly the lead singer of Mute Math,
right,
who was one of my heroes. One of those bands, one of my first records that I like totally fell in love with.
This dude's Paul he's a very smart guy.
He's brilliant, so kind, so warm, such a generous collaborator, just like really so fun to work with him. And he did about 1/3 of the record.
Nicholas, were there more folks involved with this record than the previous ones then? There are, right? Or no, with maybe some co-writing and collabs, not necessarily verbal collabs, but getting the songs together?
There was a good amount of people. I wouldn't say it was more than the last couple records. We had one extra producer on this who did the song Rise Up with me. Actually, co-produced that song. Jonas Jaberg. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, Jonas. Jaberg. I don't know. Great guy. I was grateful he was open to collaborating on that one. I went deep on production. My goal, my dream is to also be a producer.
It is.
And work with other artists and, be behind the scenes and stuff, in addition to, pursuing, being a front man and songwriter and all that.
Hold on here. Okay. There are some producers out there right now who still are, and were great front people of bands. And as they've been in the business a long time and have played show after show after show, and they know how to construct a song, young bands have gone to them. So is this something that you want to do 10 years from now? Or is this something if someone comes along and you're like, ooh, I like this, that you would do it in the next 2 years?
Right. It's happening now.
That's amazing. Good
yeah.
for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's Walk the Moon takes up a lot of space in my world.
Because you guys are still, I don't even know if you've peaked yet in Walk the Moon.
No, I mean, we're still going and growing, and like, it's still the train is the locomotive is very much moving. So
definitely.
It's my, that's Walk the Moon is my focus. And I've discovered that I love bringing other artists' work to life. And it's really fun to use all these skills that I've developed over the years, writing songs, and more than just lyrics and melody, but like crafting like the arc, like the delivery, the storyline of the song, the energetic storyline of the song. And like, just have that, like, bring that, I don't know, wealth of time and knowledge, spent to somebody else, where I don't have to be the face of it.
Yeah.
It's actually liberating, it's,
right.
and I love bringing that and honing that gift in that way.
So when you hear an artist being interviewed and they're talking about their experience with Rick Rubin or John Feldman or do you listen up to what the artist says about their experience with those people? And does that ever inspire you in some sort of way, or be like, oh, really? That's how Rick Rubin works with this is what his style is. Not in terms of the music, but his personality with the bands.
I guess we've had so much experience on our own working with different producers. Like, it's clear that it's so personal, and one producer might be like total gearhead and like be in like the science of it, and another producer might have a guy that's doing the science and is more the ideas person, so like, it's I've seen a beautiful array of like people setting great example and doing their own thing with it. So I don't know, I feel inspired to continue to hone those skills, but also like trust that like I'm, the path that's right for me will unfold,
There is no doubt in my mind, my small, very small mind, that you are going to kill it as a producer. You know how to write and construct a damn song.
Thanks, bro.
You really do, with real content, with real hooks. It's songs that we want to sing, hum, and dance to and see live. You get those 4 things, things are going to go unbelievably well.
The goal is dancing and crying at the same time.
Oh, okay.
That's what we want.
I like that. Okay.
We want to have this very emotional catharsis, but also be just
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you handle my love? In my super small bubble, if I, every Tuesday a new episode comes out, and I think it could be similar to a band releasing a new song. Like, are people going to like this? Oh my God, I'm so nervous every Monday. I have the worst stomach ache. When your new record comes out and it does well, are you like, phew, thank God? Or is it a different reaction?
For sure. I mean, you feel like you're just sending out, you're just like, the album is like, it's like Moses, on a like in swaddling clothes on a boat that you're just putting out onto the Nile River as it floats down and through the crocodiles. It's just like, well, see ya. I hope one day you part the seas, yeah. I don't know. I've been struggling personally. I've been struggling with that recently, where it feels like I'm so out of control of the fate of the music. And it's like even more and more obvious, or like in my face or something, with like how internet and social media and TikTok culture, it's like, it's just like nobody has any idea how anything works anymore, and I guess I'm searching for, like, I'm happy. Part of me is happy to, like, I don't know, like spiritually come into acceptance of like, it's completely out of my control. Like this could be the biggest thing ever or nothing at all, or
Yeah.
you know, it'll never be nothing. But like, you know, there's like the path that I hope that it takes, and whatever path it's going to take, which could be that or more or less.
Right.
So there's the part of me that's like, okay, I can meditate on that and be cool with that, do some yoga, and I'll be fine with that. And there's like nowadays, I'm also like searching. I'm also like still hungry. You know, it's like like the world's changing and evolving, and that version of myself 10, 11, 12 years ago that was just like ravenously booking like shitty gigs, as many shitty gigs as possible.
Yeah.
With a, you know, running around with a notebook and getting people's emails, you know, and painting their faces and whatnot, you know, like that was innovative at that time. And it was just like, and my attitude around it was just like, oh, well, it's just a matter of time, and I'm just going to do all these things, and I'm going to get, you know, the next show is going to be at least one more person than there was at the previous show, and we're just going to grow. And it's like I'm watering this, you know, this monster plant. And so I don't know. I there's like, we're on a major label, and we've got people who've got opinions about, you know, how to do this or that, and we've got a, you know, there's like teams of advisors, you know, and it's like, I'm searching. It's easy. So that's all to say, like, it's easy. Like after one reaches a certain level of success, maybe, to get complacent, because there's people who like are hired to do things for you.
Right.
But the art still starts here, right? And with the band, and like ultimately everything that goes out into the world is an expression of like the innermost, like the core of the band. And so what is like, I'm finding myself like searching for that. What are the things that I can control, or what are the things that I can have influence on beyond like what I post on my Instagram? Like, it is important. Like, I love being able to connect with people in that way and like share myself and share my experience or like my perspective.
Yeah.
It's totally super valuable. And I'm a little like bored or something with it, or feeling like there's more there that I'm not accessing that I want to.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That I'm like, huh. It makes me want to return to the days of just like showing up somewhere randomly and playing, or just doing some kind of guerrilla, like,
right.
I don't know.
There's a band in here, a young band just the other day, called the Aquadolls. They're a 3-piece, all female. They're like 22 to 24-year-old range. And they brought instruments. And they're like, can we play 2 songs? I'm like, this is not the Capitol Records building or a super famous studio. They're like, we don't care. We just want to play. And it felt like, this is so, and I'm going to mix on this $300 board that I bought at Guitar Center with these. I have like only 2 other mics here. Yeah, let's do it. It sounded fantastic. And I don't know if that has anything to do. It kind of like made me think of what you just said. Let's just go do it. It doesn't have to be
I
so
love that.
pretty.
I wish I brought a keyboard. Yeah.
How many keyboards do you own?
Not too many. I've
Okay.
mostly owned the same 2 keyboards and replaced them over and over again for 10 years. Because I don't know, there's like this one little sleeper Roland keyboard. We're getting into nerdy territory now.
Yep.
That like nobody else owns because it's a piece of shit, but I love it, and it's like made some of the signature Walk the Moon sounds. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, but no, I actually just spent time yesterday in a like super like nerd Nexus of keyboard delights. That's there's a place called Rosen Sound here in LA, and just great people work there, and they repair like high-end keyboards. So there's just like, it was like a museum that I could go and just play and twirl around.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah. And
That's great.
I ended up
Buy one?
yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Is it
Couldn't
more-
help myself.
I have no idea. Don't, if you wanted to, how much keyboards cost? Is it like 2,000?
I mean, there's
1,000?
keyboards. There's like some good keyboards you can get for like $500 or $600, and then there's
Okay.
other ones that are like,
They can get
like
up there?
Like, yeah, like there's like the vintage Juno sound that you hear on like the Killers records, or like, you know, famous 80s records like that. Maybe that's like $2,000 or $3,000.
All right, that's a lot of money, but that's okay. I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say way more than
But
that.
then there's a surge now in some of these like old vintage like spaceship keyboards that are, some of the keyboards are $20,000 to $60,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been here like 45 minutes. Couple more things. It was just Thanksgiving 5 days ago. Did you go see any family? Did they come here? How do you do? What the hell did you do?
I got my mom. It's just my mom and I. My dad passed away a few years ago, and I'm
Sorry.
the only child, so it's just me and my mom.
And she lives in Cincinnati?
She lives in Cincinnati.
She does, okay.
So typically the move is go home to Cincinnati and hang out with mom and the doggo, and we do our thing. But I convinced her to come out to Los Angeles this year for Thanksgiving. She was here for a week. I just dropped her off yesterday at the airport, and I have some friends up in Ojai. We went up there and we stayed in an RV on this property for a couple
Christmas
days.
vacation almost.
Yeah,
So wait, you and your mom in an RV in Ojai. Sleeping in the same RV?
Yeah, sleeping in the same RV. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was great, and
Good.
it was like she got to experience my like neo like hippie like friends.
Your worlds collided. For real.
Worlds collided. Yeah, there was a minor amount of nudity that she tolerated.
Okay.
And it was so fun. I was just my mom is such a she's just down. She'll meet you anywhere, like any conversation in the whole world. She'll meet you there, and
that's great.
And she's been such a beautiful rock in my life.
Does she follow everything you do? I know she's your rock, but does she listen to the songs? Has she been in more than 20 of your shows, do you think?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, definitely, yeah.
All right.
She's a rock mom.
Is it okay if I ask a question about your dad?
For sure, absolutely.
Were they married then when he passed?
Yeah.
Oh, they were.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad had Alzheimer's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
And early onset. He got it when he was 49.
Wow.
And had it for like 15 years.
Wow. Oh, man.
Yeah, it was another one of those obviously it's like my run-in with tragedy in my life. My experience of deep sorrow in my life is through my dad's illness, but I've also come to see it as a gift too. And he was the one that introduced me to he would introduce me to like Cake and Coldplay and he was into music when I was growing up, and the one that like really got me into the scene, I guess. And
he saw some of your success?
He did, yeah.
That's great. Great. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
totally. It's not only did he like kind of set me on the path in a way of music, but also that experience of losing him and that long process of him being sick. There are so many terrible traumas that people have gone through in the world, and this one was mine,
Yeah.
and through that window of that like darkness, I feel like there's a level to which I can I'm now understanding other people's hardships and pain, and it's it's altered my music, it's altered my worldviews and my spiritual perspectives, and how I approach life, and maybe it's just a deeper, bigger person,
Right. Yeah.
and a more compassionate person. And so it's hard for me to imagine my life and my own, I don't recognize my heart, from before. It's like it's evolved and changed so much.
All as a result of what your dad went through, and how you experienced that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And with so much love. I mean, he was, I'm so lucky that my parents were in love, till the day he passed, and he was, I mean, he's, that I don't know how much people know about that disease, but he's like, he can't speak or feed himself, and he's still like making jokes like with his eyes, like he's like poking, he's like making us laugh even to the very end. And so to see that, and him go through that with so much grace and humor, just changed my life. Yeah.
Wow. Can I ask something else personal?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
In July of 2020, you came out and revealed who your true self is, right? Said, I am a bisexual man. How did that come about, and why did you feel so free to let the world know? And I'm glad you did. And the response, of course, and it should be, was loving, and it was amazing.
Yeah, the response was so beautiful. I felt so supported and seen and loved.
Yeah.
And really I see that as a matter of privilege, like the times, like I was inspired. I was getting into just learning about Harvey Milk. And he had said something like, come out to your parents, come out to your neighbors, come out to the mailman, come out to, because the more that people realize, like, we're among you, we're everywhere, we're just like and the way I see it is, it's all a spectrum. It's like someone may be at a very far end of one spectrum, but we're all like really here on the same scale, and just like in different places, and that can change and evolve too.
Right.
And really, there's that, just eliminating that separation, that idea, like that there's another, like I just think that's a total illusion, that there is other, like really we're all just reflections of one another. And so for me, I felt very privileged coming out in a time where like it would be celebrated, and and I said in my coming out post, I've passed for a cis straight guy my whole life, and I've never very minimal
so you knew from 5 years old on that maybe that you were into guys and girls? Is that fair to say?
No, it was later on, when, and it wasn't until I met someone who I felt safe. Like I realized, like, oh, like I feel safe with this person in a new way, and I felt safe to express myself with them. And I didn't know that that was a part of me until then.
Interesting.
Until I felt safe enough, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so for me, it was really just like, if my coming, like I never felt a need to like, oh, I've got to make an event of this so that my parents know, and then my people. It's just like it was not. I feel like people would figure it out, or they, I didn't really care that much. But when I could see that who I am, with my platform, but as I say this, actually, everyone has a platform. Like whether they're, they know two people, or they know they're you're freaking Beyonce or something.
Right.
That my sharing vulnerably could give someone else permission to do the same, or inspire someone else to feel that safety.
Yeah.
In marginally, then it's worth it. So, I'm
very, very happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you feel
Thanks for
liberated?
asking.
Yeah. Thank you for speaking of it.
Yeah.
And I think there's got to be one person watching that heard the words that you just said, and is going to know it's going to be okay, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's totally going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. What a hangout session.
Thanks, man.
This was fun as can be, and all the bullet points that I wanted to know and learn about you, as I've been a fan for so many years, you filled them all out. I learned so much. Congrats on an amazing career that you have created, and that, as we know, it hasn't even peaked yet. So much more to get done as a frontman, Walk the Moon, and as a producer.
Hey, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, that is Nicholas from Walk the Moon. Heights is the new album that is out. Thanks so much for watching Tuna on Toast. I am Ted Stryker. Happy snuggles. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed. Now hit that subscribe button. And for more Tuna on Toast, listen wherever you get your podcasts.